What's up, guys? Adam Patterson, of course, here for the channel. Let me adjust this camera right quick. Hopefully you can see me very well. Just wanted to give you my quick thoughts on non-competes, non-solicits, and my idea that business is never owned. Now, take this all with the preface that if you sign a non-compete or a non-solicit, I personally have done multiple times now. When I first got my first big boy sales job in the telecommunications space, I signed a non-compete, which meant that if I ever left that company, I couldn't even compete in the space for 2 years after my leaving date. If I were to be fired or if I were to quit, I could not compete in that industry for the next 2 years without or be sued. I could do it, but for a price, right? I signed a non-solicit when I got into logistics. Did I know exactly what I was signing? Not particularly. Who sends an employment agreement when you're just accepting a job and you don't have any future plans? Who sends it to an attorney? The only time that I ever had an attorney look over it is when I was leaving and starting my own company. And my thoughts on it are pretty consistent across the board. I want to adjust this again. I feel you're not actually looking at me. And here is my general thought. If you signed a piece of paper that said that you are not going to do something, you need to honor your word. You need to not do it. When I signed a 2-year non-solicit from my leaving date, from my exit date, did I know exactly what I was signing? Yes, because I had already looked into it by that point. Did I know it when I signed up with the company originally? No, I had no idea. I didn't even read it. I just said, thank God somebody's giving me a job, right? And I signed where I needed to sign, and I said, let's go do this thing. Let's go make some money. You need to honor whatever you say. When I left to go start my own business, I haven't solicited my old business. I can after the 2 years of me leaving date. I likely will, but you can't do it in that time frame. If you can't leave and start on your own to gain new business, you shouldn't do it. That's a first and foremost warning. But my thoughts on non-competes and non-solicits are, no one owns your business. You don't own your customer's business, as in the right to do business with them. They can cancel you at any moment. They can decide that you are not the proper service provider. They can decide that you do not provide a quality or valuable enough product or service to them that they will go with a different option. And therefore, when I am hiring out other people in my company, I do not have a non-solicit or a not compete. If we cannot keep the business and that rep wants to leave and go take their customer with them, and we can't keep it because the company brand hasn't done enough to be there, because our team hasn't been involved enough, that's on us. And I'm sure that if I was larger, I would have a different opinion, because once you have scale and once you've provided real training and such to said representative to then go out and acquire such business, maybe then I'll have a little bit more of a maybe then I'll have a different opinion of it, but I don't, because a large company that I've ever worked for, even small companies that I've ever worked for, they keep the business that I leave with them. But if I were to leave and say, hey, I'm over here now, and they chose to come with me, obviously that company didn't do enough, the brand didn't do enough to then keep said business. If I go out and start competing with them for the business that I earned in the first place for them, then I think that's on the company to try and keep it. If you've gone out and done all of the head work and they have to do is keep it opposed to go and re-earn it, there is a big difference in that. And I think that non-competes and non-solicits are I think that they are predatory in almost every single aspect of them. And because of that, I will not have anyone who comes to work for me ever sign one. I'm not going to put it in. I may give us leeway or something like that, 3 to 6 months on a non-solicit, as in time for us to get in and rekindle a relationship. But if they want to go after it, I'm not going to sue anybody, even if I had it. Even if I had it in my terms of the agreement for our employment agreement, even if I had a non-solicit or a non-compete, it's rare that I would even consider doing it, because at the end of the day, I would go, as long as we left on good terms, I would probably just let it happen. If we can't keep it, we don't deserve to have it. And that is my opinion and thoughts on it, because business is never owned. No customer that I have right now that I did all the work for, that I service every single day, they can choose to go with a different provider at any moment that they want. And all of them are competition. They could choose to go with somebody else if they wanted to. And if they did, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the customer and say, you can't take your business away from me? No, I can't do that because that's not how business works. Anybody who knows it, anybody who owns a business or has worked in business knows that they can lose a customer at any point in time for any reason. If you have a service failure, if your pricing is wrong, if you don't provide something that is valuable enough for them to keep on going with, you will lose your customer. Therefore, if I can't keep a customer because of one representative who provided a service, the service is going to remain the same at my company because people follow my processes and my teachings. If my team cannot go out there and then keep that business, we don't deserve to have it. And for that reason, non-competes, non-solicits, even if I do have them in writing because my attorney tells me that it's a good idea to do, and I will take advice from attorneys, I'm probably not going to enforce them or chase anybody down. I'm not here to be a predatory employer. I am here to be an absolute predator when it comes to competition. When my competition goes out, I plan to bury them, but I'm not going to take an ex-employee of mine who just wants to go out and make a living, perhaps doesn't want to do it under my thumb, and ruin their lives in a lawsuit over it. I'm just not going to do that. Now, here are a couple things. Here's a couple ways that I plan to actually fight this. Number one, I'm going to treat my employees very well. They're going to have nearly total autonomy, and their only directives are going to be, don't hurt my fucking brand or I will have your job. You understand? And then number two, I'm going to pay them well. I am going to do everything to make my employees happy and well paid, but they're going to work harder than hell. And that's just going to be the example that I set and the rules that I have in place. And if they don't want to do it, they're not going to last long enough to land their own business anyways. If somebody comes and works for me and they last a year, 2 years, and then somehow at 3 years they decide to leave, it's going to be completely unheard of. The people who are going to come to work for me, they will wash out within a month or two, and that's not really enough time to land any substantial customers and build a substantial relationship that they're going to be able to take it anyways. That's my thoughts. That's my opinions. Leave it on the video. Of course, comment below on what your thoughts are, or if you think my thoughts are too strong in one direction or another. And then, of course, subscribe to the channel, guys. Everything more coming. More business talks, more sales talks, more lifting talks. Let's just do it all, man. Have a good one, guys. Onward.